Morning, everybody. My name is Richard Mullen. I'm an account manager here at Enhance. Welcome to our April Wave Release webinar for Business Central. I'm acting as the moderator for today's presentation, and I'm being joined by Mance, who's one of our consultants, who will actually be going through the actual webinar content itself. Before I hand over to Mance, just a few simple housekeeping items. So we expect the session to last just less than an hour, really. Note that the webinar is being recorded and it'll be able to view on demand on our website. All participants are set to listen only and will remain so for the duration of the webinar. So if you do have a question, if you just pop it into the Q&A and we'll pick them up at the end. Do feel free to submit those questions through the webinar because it really brings the session to life. So with that, I'll hand over to Mance.
Cool, thank you. Good morning, everyone. As Richard's introduced me, my name is Mansur Ahmed. I'm one of the senior consultants here at Enhance. So today we're looking into the deep dive of Wave 1 release for Business Central 2025. Now, I'll flash up on the screen in a moment when I start sharing the features which they've brought out, and there's a whole plethora of features that they bring out. And as you know, we could spend quite a bit of time going through each and every one of them. What we've done is we've picked out some of the key things that finance users may find useful and good knowledge to have as to what has been released in Wave 1 2025. When you guys get upgraded, as you know, the upgrade process, how it works, it'll be automatic. You'll notice some new maybe buttons, some new features on a day-to-day basis, so we'll cover them. And yes, there are some more deeper features which are available. So I will start by sharing out my screen, so less talking of me and you can see what's going on. So just bear with me 1 second and I'll share out my screen. So on my screen here, I've just gone to a page and all the users can pretty much just do a search in any good browser. I'm not going to name any particular one, but you guys know what they are. If you search for Business Central 2025, Wave 1, you'll get to the Microsoft page where you get to the Microsoft Learn. And here they've list a whole plethora of items of what they've covered. There's a lot of like localization updates that they do as you go through. So, you know, for Czechoslovakia, there was quite a lot this time round, and for Australia, New Zealand, and so on, and some VAT reporting for Czech, etc. Don't think that will be too relevant for the audience today. Then there's things around the development side. There's some e-commerce bits and some financial management, some interest rate items. So you can see there's quite a list of items that they do. There's been quite a lot of amendments that they've done, or amendments, features that they've enhanced, let's call them, in supply chain management. So the list goes on and on. This is quite a lot. So you've got some sustainability management here and then some user experiences. So what we've done is we've picked out some of the key quick wins that we can go through with you, just to give you a flavor of the type of things that Wave 1 has introduced. So if I flick over to Business Central, so this is my Business Central. This is a demo version, which I'm showing you. So this is Kronos UK. In here, we're going to go through some of the areas. Now, a lot of the chat, again, it's quite relevant in recent media, in news, and in various forms of chatter, which is going on, not just Business Central related, just generally in the world today. Everybody's talking about AI. AI is a big thing that Microsoft is also working on. Their branding of AI is called Copilot. As you guys may have seen, various options within Business Central already in the existing system. What they're doing is going forward, they're enhancing it more and more. So in Wave 1, they've made some enhancements. In Wave 2, they'll make further enhancements. So watch this space, because in years to come and in future releases, you're going to see more and more and more interaction with Copilot and its capabilities. So this is almost like the, dare I say, it's like the infancy stage of Copilot in Business Central. They're getting started, in my opinion. There's a lot more to come, I reckon. It'll get a lot further. So I'm going to show you some of the nice little things that they've added in Copilot now within Business Central. So first of all, up at the top here, we'll refer back to this again in a second. You'll see that there's a little icon up here. It says Copilot. So typically you could go into Copilot here and it'll come in there. And this is just looking at it from an overall perspective. So there's nothing specific here in Copilot at the moment. It says, what are you looking for? What do you want? You could type in some questions in here and say, I want to see X, Y, and Z. But we're going to look at it in a bit more of a deep dive. So when you can see, as you can see my screen here, and we'll cover this off in a second, you'll see there's a little icon up here which says SO. Now, one of the key things that Microsoft have emphasized in their Wave 1 release is a new, call it a module. It's an AI capability called Sales Agent, and it does have quite an extensive array of functionality. We'll cover that off in a second when we look at it. And in other areas where you are navigating throughout Business Central, you'll notice a little Copilot sign. So for argument's sake, let's go to, and this is, like I said, I'm trying to focus this on your everyday tasks that people do. I know there's a lot of finance users who are on this call at the moment. So end users like myself used to be back in the days, you know, whether you're working on the purchase side, you know, sales ledger side, you're a company accountant, you're a financial controller, so on and so forth. You'll always be interrogating the system and you'll always be looking for inquiries, reports, and obviously doing transactions as well. So one in Business Central, as you will know, a very common area that people go to is Gen Ledge entries. And as you can see, I'm just using the abbreviated terminologies. I'm sure you guys will have worked it out by using Business Central. You can type in the full wording, general ledger entries, or it's clever enough to say Gen Ledge entries, and it says, oh, I think you want general ledger entries. Yes, I do, please. Thank you very much. So general ledger entries, what is general ledger entry? Just to recap, it's a list of every single transaction which has gone through your general ledger, and the list goes on and on and on. As you know, as your systems will get as you're maturing in your usage, the count will just get more and more and more. But you don't want to scroll through every single transaction. You'll be wanting to interrogate this in a particular way. For example, things like show me all the transactions which are for a particular GL account code. Show me transactions for a GL account code within a date range, and maybe where one of your dimensions, like here's my dimensions in the Kronos system, department code and customer group, show me where the dimension equals medium, you know, things like that. We know that we can use the filtering here. We can come into here, we can define our own filters. This is all standard existing functionality. This little icon up here again, Copilot. Now, some of you may or may not have used, but a few iterations ago in Business Central, they introduced what we called the analysis mode. So when you flick to analysis mode, this basically opens up your general ledger entries, but it's now in analysis mode. And those of you who are very familiar with Microsoft Excel, you'll recognize that it has the whole pivoting functionality over here. On the right hand side, you can pivot your data how you wish. You can put filters in there, you know, say, show me the document from here to there, you know, again, show me all the transactions for a particular GL account code and where the customer group equals so-and-so, or the department, or in your cases, it may be cost centers, it might be projects, it might be some of our charity clients. They use funds, fund types. Is it restricted fund, unrestricted? Is it for project A, project B? A whole plethora of dimensions that you could potentially be using against this. So here's the manual way that you would be doing it. But you'll notice that there is a little icon here, which is Copilot. So if I just flick back a second, so if I just start at the Gen Ledger entries again. So if I go back to general ledger entries and I'm coming out of the analysis mode just by clicking here, you can see we're back in our standard general ledger entries. If I clicked on the analysis list, these are the little icons that you'll need to start getting used to, which Microsoft are using for their Copilot. So it's this, I wouldn't even know what to call that. It's like a box on a box, and you have some stars here. So if I go to the reason why I'm emphasizing these icons is that in various windows, when I show you through in a second, you'll see that little message boxes will pop up and it'll have that icon there. It may not necessarily have the full word of Copilot, but it will certainly have that icon. And one should look out for that and say, oh, okay, so this is a field potentially where I could use some of the Copilot capabilities. So if I click on analyze this list, it comes up with what do you want to do? So I could do something like GL account equals 101. Now, I've used a variety of terminologies here. Some have worked, and this is a trial and error thing. This is how it's learning as well. Some work, some don't. So, you know, use the what I've been doing is using the logic in my head as to what it is that I'm after. So I could say something like, show me X, Y, and I'm literally I'll do an example in a second. Show me this, show me that. I could have words like that in it. So you could say GL account code where it equals 1100 and show me this and show me that. I'm literally typing it in as like a sentence, and it's pretty good. It does what it is. So let's do a simple one. General account equals 110. This is one of the sales accounts in Business Central. Off it goes. Now, this is where your learning will come in. This is where our learning comes in. This is where the system learning comes in. So you do it the first time. Say, oh, okay. So it's showing me all my transactions with a 110, but I want to see all the other information. I didn't ask it for any other information. That's why it's giving me that. So I could say, show all amount columns. And it's preparing, it's going, and all of a sudden, you can see I've got all my amount columns here as well now. And it naturally creates the analysis tab for you, gives it a name. From here, you can keep it, delete it. If you think, no, this is not what I want, I can open it up in Excel as well. I can rename it to whatever you want, because at the moment it's just taking the name from here. So you can say, okay, show me this. And you can see now, you can revert back to this as well. Just this Copilot box is still open. So I can still come back to the Copilot box, and I could do something else as well to it. I could add something and say, show me all amounts. This is one of my dimensions. Yes, you could get to these values yourself as well. You could use the filters, but why use the filters when you can use Copilot now? So it's done it all for me. I'm literally typing in what it is that I want. So you can see how the wording is there as well. So in some cases I've said show me, in other cases I've said equals. I could have used, I think I'm using one of my other examples, is customer group is, rather than the equal sign. So this is all going to be part of your learning as well as you're going along, like which phrases, which common terminologies will work. And what it's done here, it's essentially showed me it all in. You can discard it and come back to it again. And if you go back to my analysis mode, you'll see I didn't keep it, I didn't save it, so it will be going back to where I was originally. So again, I could create a new, once you come into the analysis mode as well, you can see this little Copilot icon is here. I could do the same in here again. And I could do, you know, I could literally type in the same GL account 1110. You know, depending on the data, depending on your data size, depending on what it is that you're asking for, it could take longer, could take less time. Just all depends on the, you know, I could even turn around and do some other, analysis on it and say, right, show me everything which is an invoice for that particular account. I don't want to see payments. So I could, so you've got to start learning as well how the system is working. So you've got your headers at the top. So you could say, you know, use the phrases, the column headers that are there, not what you think they should be. So, you know, I would say where the document type equals invoice, where, you know, I'm looking for a particular document number or a range, and so on and so forth. And then once you're happy with that, you could then keep it. Now, there it is forever and a day, you know, until you rename it or delete it or whichever you want to do. And just as easily, you can flick back as well. So this is on general ledger entries. Same works on your vendor ledger entries. So if I go to vendor ledger entries, again, a very common one that people come to. I could come into analysis mode from here. I've got my Copilot here, either or. Come into this, analyze this list. I could do something like vendor name, and I'm going, oops, if I can spell even. And I've noticed that when I was doing some, when I was looking at it earlier on in the month, I put some deliberate typos in there as well. And sometimes it was clever enough to work it out. I'm going to try and do a deliberate typo, but I know some of the typos, it kind of like worked it out as well. Again, with the Copilot, it's AI, it's artificial intelligence, isn't it? So vendor name, and I'm going to say like now. I'm going to start using these terminologies as well. Those of you who are familiar with like some sort of querying in database, I was trying to use an acronym from there, like a terminology using the word like rather than is and things like that. So I know that I've got a load of suppliers in there called Nod Publisher. So I go vendor name like Nod. That's all I'm doing. So document type equals invoice and all amount columns. Deliberately doing some stuff in here, see what it gives us. Okay, so didn't like some of my deliberate mistakes, but I know that in some of the cases it has worked in the past. Let's just get rid of that one there as well. Yeah, still doesn't like it. Let's vendor name like Nod, etc. You can go back to it again. No, it's not liking something in there. There we go. I missed a show bit. I didn't understand what I was saying. All I was saying was again, I was saying, show me. You can see at the bottom of it was, and all I said was, and all amount columns. It didn't understand what it meant by and all amount columns, although I had to re-emphasize the word show. So I said, show the invoice and show the amount. So we've seen some error handling in it. So this is how you're learning, it's learning, and you can understand the logic that it's using when you're using the Copilot functionality here. So here again, all of a sudden I've got a list. I can keep it now. So again, you could filter this list even further. You could say, and where the amount is less than, equal to, or above, except, you know, using some of these amount fields, but it's already built the list for you. I've got that list now. I've kept it. It's already applied the filters for you, hence the AI capabilities within Business Central. And like I said, it works on vendor ledger. It works on the customer ledger. So another little example of this is if I go to, again, you probably wouldn't be coming into here too much, but you can come to an area which is number series. So in number series, this is where all your numbering is. So you can see here again, I've got the Copilot icon, which has appeared straight away. And I can come into my Copilot icon and I can say number series So I can say something like cust, which is one of my ones in here. This is the customer one already. You can see cust, and if I wanted to update something, cust starting number equals, I don't know, something like cust ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cust ABC. All of a sudden, it said it's found the cust, and I don't know if you noticed in the background, it was saying, I don't know, had something like C cust, whatever it was, the 001. But all of a sudden, it's saying, okay, so I'm going to update customer number with this value here, which was starting number, and there's my numbering there, which I've got for customer number 999, warning number there. So this is just what we've created, and I can say keep it. And all of a sudden, cust ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, customer 999. So again, you can use AI to do various things like this. I think I did another one as well. There's something like, if you wanted to create a new one. So I said create new code, cust ABC. I'm going to call this ZZZ 6. And all of a sudden, it's going to create a new number series for me. And I'll say, I can have a look at this and review it and say, yep, okay, yeah, I'm happy with this. I want to do that. I could keep it. And all of a sudden, bada bing, there it is. So there are lots of little features that you can do with Copilot in various windows. To go through every single window will probably be challenging, but you can see that there's quite a lot of functionality within Business Central's Copilot. So another area is, for example, if I came to purchase invoices, just as an example, which is a very common area, if I come into new, again, this is in a variety of windows. This is me just showing you an example. You can see immediately this field here, vendor number. You can see the little Copilot icon up here. So there'll be some fields, which are not every single field, some fields which will have the icon where you can use a suggestion. And the suggestion here is it suggests a value for this. And what it's done at the moment was that it looked at the last invoice that I put in. So when I clicked on it, it said, oh, okay, so you might be entering a series of invoices for a particular supplier, and you're doing lots of them. So all of a sudden, the last invoice that I entered was Fabricam. So it said, oh, are you Fabricam? And it's all automatically populated the purchaser code, etc. And then you can go in up and say, yes, I want to keep that, or no, I don't want to keep it. And all of a sudden, it's entered all the values, and you can go on and do it. So like I said, not every field has Copilot, but some of the fields do have a Copilot against it. And you have these little suggestions that AI generated content may be incorrect, and you can say, give a feedback, you like it, give a not a feedback if you want it. Gives you a little icon up here, what you're doing. So it's quite a nice little feature, so you can keep selected. And there's our new invoice. So no details on it yet, but you can generate various field information from AI as you go along. another nice little feature that they've added for the Copilot is, say, for argument's sake, I went to my vendors, and I'm just going to bring up a vendor at random. This is Fabricam Inc. And again, you should all be familiar with this I button on your Business Central. So in I, you can click, unclick, and this gives you what we call the fact box. And the fact box here, as we know, this is existing already. It gives you a summary of information. What's my vendor? What's my balances? You can drill into any of these transactions. But you've got this little summary preview up here as well. Well, look, there's the Copilot icon again. If I click on this Copilot, it's got working on it. It's doing its calculation. It's giving you some summary information. And it will go away and it will give you relevant information to do with this particular supplier. So it goes, the balance to date for this vendor is such and such, outstanding invoices are such and such. So I can do show more and it'll open up in here. So it's that Copilot icon from here. It's automatically opened it up. It's summarizing my vendor. It's giving me a bit more information than just those 3 bullet points. Now it's giving me a few more bullet points. The total amount, which is the vendor, and so on. The vendor operates under payment terms, CM. So normally that information isn't available on this thing. That what is the payment terms for this vendor? So it's giving you these kind of information. So it goes again. It always gives you this little a little caveat at the bottom. The AI generated content may be incorrect. Yes, okay, we know that. You just got to learn with it as you're going along. So you could say yes, thumbs up, thumbs down. And it's quite nice, this feature, because, you know, sometimes you might be looking for something maybe on the sales side of things. So, you know, I'm looking at a customer and I don't know what information is available for that customer at the moment. So I'm going to have a look at Mr. The data doesn't have a balance. Let's select one that does have a balance. Let's select School of Finance. Again, the Copilot is on. The fact box is open. Off it goes. It's working on it. It's going to give me some summary information. There we go. I can do the show more again. I want some more bullet point. Fabricam. Da-di-da-di-da. It's coming in here. Payment to the last. Okay, so it's still looking at the vendor. So it's almost done. So it's still got the last cash, and there it goes. It's updated now. It was still looking at the previous one. Now it's looking at summarize School of Fine Art. So yada, 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 yada. It's got all of this information here. And again, you can drill into some of these icons, show the balance, etc. You can drill into the customer card, have a little play around with it, see what it does for you guys. You may find good use out of it. Others may say, okay, it's good from time to time. But again, it's purely down to usage and how you guys want to use it in there. Now, one of the things that Microsoft have mentioned is, and I'm going to touch upon this briefly, is something which they've called a sales agent. It's called a sales order agent. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but there is a caveat to this, which I'll mention in a second. So when I was using my demo version, it works off of AI generated calculations and computations. In my demo version, it only allowed me to do one calculation, unfortunately. So that's why I've got a red X against my sales order, is because it says here the agent is processing task because it has used up its AI quota. So for this particular element of using Copilot and using the sales order agent, which is full on AI, as they call it, there is a licensing model, unfortunately. It's how Microsoft work. There's a way on how they would charge for the number of computations and transactions. Those of you who have used other AI tools out there, to name but a few, I wouldn't want to name them here, but don't promote any of them. But you'll notice that there's a free element on these tools when you're searching and you're typing in something, I want to do this, or how is this, and gives you free. And obviously there's the premium version where you would pay, because obviously you've been hearing about it in the media, in the news for many months, about how AI is very power hungry, how it's using computations, and how the energy sector is affected by the AI transaction, the AI processes which are going on, and the supercomputers which are running it, yada yada yada. It's reflected here as well, because here you would have to pay on a license for your AI quotas, and I'll cover that up in a second. So what I did was I had a look at this sales order, sales agent. Essentially what I did was I sent myself an email. I say myself, I set this email account up, which is the email account of the admin account, which I'm using for Business Central. So this one, admin M365. I know I was just doing it as an example to you guys. So I sent an email to that account from another email account, which I had called Mansour_mhance.co. And I said, hello, I wish to buy 2 Athens mobile pedestals. That was it. These are items within the system. So what it done here, it came into sales, into customers, and this is what the AI did in the background, by the way. So there is a customer here called Mansour_mhance. It found my email address here. This is how it linked that email to this sales account. And then you can set this up in a number of ways. There's lots of different permutations on how you can set it up. You can set it up to say, okay, the email comes in. Do I need to verify it first, or do I just convert it straight to a sales order? Do I make it a quote first and then manual intervention? Then I make it into a sales order. So there's so many steps that you can automate or not automate and have human intervention in. So when I went into my sales order, okay, these emails, you'll have to ignore them. They were just part of the standard emails which I had in my administrator account, which I've subsequently deleted. But because my AI has stopped after 1 or 2 conversations, it's not updated all of these. But if I scroll right to the bottom, you'll see that it recognized there was an invoice from Mansour Ahmed. And when it came in, it said incoming customer requests to buy 2 Amsterdam lamps. So this one, it returned an error to me because I didn't have enough quantity. So this was me when I was testing it. And then I said, okay, that's exactly what I wanted it to do. I didn't want it to just go in and create an order based on an inventory item, which I didn't have, and it rejected it. It said, no, you can't, because there was not enough. There you go, lamp is not available. So I got that message here. Then I sent the second one, which I said, okay, I want to buy 2 Athens pedestal lamps. So this was my email. So it came from here, went into here. I want to buy 2 pedestal lamps. This is who I was, and off it went. And it created my sales order for me. Sales quote. Came down in here. There was my quote. And obviously I had to come in here. There was a bit of intervention. I had to come in here. So I reviewed it. Then I accepted it. Once I accepted it, it done the rest of the creation of the sales quote in automation. There it was, 2 pedestals for 2 items. And then your natural Business Central processes kick in. Now, when you're looking at it from this bit, I had a little slide which I wanted to show you. So this is the official Microsoft Learn page, which again, if you guys need this, you can search for it on any recognized search engine when you go into it, and I'll give you some of the, we can certainly share the links out as well. I can relay them to Jenny and Richard, who are the moderators here, and we can share this out. But like I said, this information is readily available online, just using a bona fide search engine. So when I was looking at the sales order agent, there's an overview, tells you what it does. Yes, there's a lot of information in it, but what I wanted to show you here was they got a very nice diagram as to what the sales order agent can do. So there's a sales order agent. So you can send a request, you can either review it, you can create the quote, you can, once to review and confirm, you move on, you create the quote, which is the step which I just showed you. You can create more tasks where it reviews it, you further review it, send the quote, you can confirm it back, review it, etc. You can create the order from it, send order. This also works with workflows. You can put workflows into it, and you can do a whole plethora of items. So you know, there's a sense, and this is a detailed breakdown of an example of what this step is doing. So it's sending the order, the reviewer, then it goes into the order agent, it finds the contact, the customer number from the email address, like I said, and so on and so forth. The pricing for this, again, you know, if this was something which any of our clients here would wish to pursue, or at least to investigate and see where it could take them, please reach out to us, reach out to your account manager. They can give you further information, but this is the area which I wanted to bring your focus on. It says the Salvador uses Microsoft Copilot student messages for AI interaction, which incur charges. Like I said, there are charges, and there's like a pay-as-you-go model, or there's a prepaid model which you can have. And I think it's based upon the number of computations that it does. And you can either pay as you're going along, and you pay, I don't know, whatever it is, like a penny per interaction, and then however many interactions one step has. So if there was, like, say, 10 different levels in a particular process, and it was 10 computations, if it was a penny, it would be 10 pence for that one interaction. Or you could do a prepaid model, which I read. So here you go. You've got a setup billing model. You can 2 billing models, prepaid, or you have the pay-as-you-go model. So if that is something which you guys would want to look into, please reach out to us. We can give you further information on that. But this is one of their big items that they've brought in wave 1. And yes, there is a charge to it, unfortunately. It's just how the world works with Microsoft and with other software providers and with AI. But some of the early feedback which I've seen online is that it's quite positive, and it does reduce a lot of back-end operations, and gives you a bit more slicker sales processor, emails coming in, it's generating quotes, orders, less intervention, and it's basically just opening up a whole new stream of invoicing for people. It is very, very early in its infancy stages. Like I said, with the other items, watch this space, because wave 2, next year's wave 1, wave 2, etc. These functionalities will only get more and more. They'll probably introduce it in purchase ledger side, and maybe on the bank side of things, and just keep going further and further with it. Some of the other features, apart from AI, which I can just show you now. So again, on the purchasing side, one of the things that they've done is, if I went to payables setup, there's a new option here under. Now again, appreciated the people on this call, not everybody would have access to the setup areas of Business Central, but those who do, you would make an informed decision if it's something which you want to utilize or not. But one of the features which they've added is this little checkbox here which says check document totals. So I've got my box ticked on. What does that mean? What that means is, when I'm entering a purchase invoice, so I can probably check to see one that's already there. Maybe I'll enter a new one. If I came in, created a new one, let's just call it to First Up Consultants. You'll notice that you've got a document amount and a document amount including that, and the document amount. These are like check totals. So again, you could use AI. Look, the AI functionality is opened up here, but I could say something like the document amount including tax, and the document amount of VAT is 20. So I'm doing a check. So imagine if you're an end user, you're a purchase ledger inputter, you're inputting some sort of purchase ledger information. You will have an invoice in front of you where you are typing up figures. So it may be multiple lines as well. So your invoice will always have a total at the end of it. Naturally, all invoices do. It will have the total value and the total VAT. So what you can do is you can input those values here. So then when you're adding your lines, once you've added all the different GL lines that you've added, you can then check to see that what you've added corresponds to the invoice totals which you put in here, which naturally you would have typed in from whatever the invoice was that you had. So if I came in here and I'd done £100, we know that this is in an ideal world 100, 20, 20, and it would balance. But let's see if we can force an error on this. So if I say my line is for 80, so my document including, excluding is 80, my VAT amount is 16, my document including is 96. It doesn't correspond to these values up here. If I do a preview post, It won't tell me, which I think is a bit strange at the moment. So who knows? They may well make this feature a little bit better, but it doesn't tell you on the preview posting. But when I come to post it, it's going to give me an error. It says the document amount is 120 is not equal because the number of lines I've entered are 96 pounds. So it's like a document check. Those of you who have used other ERP systems in the past, I've seen it on other systems where you can have control check amounts on batches. So this is a similar sort of functionality. So if you was entering GL, I've seen it on some systems where you're entering a GL batch, and you can say my batch is going to be value of £1,000, and then you go into the batch and you enter your lines. And then once you've entered your lines, you come back to the batch and you verify. If you try to post it, it says, well, the batch control amount that you've entered is not the value of the lines that you've entered. So this is a similar sort of functionality, just gives you that extra layer if you wanted to on your payable side of things. Another new few features that they've added in Business Central is on the reporting side of things. So if I came into reports, and these are the inbuilt system reports that you can have. So for example, if I went to income report, now what you can do is here, where you've got this report layout, traditionally, as you know, whenever you're printing a report, it comes out as landscape. But now from this financial report section up here, I can toggle between landscape and portrait. If that was something that anybody had a query on, you can do landscape and portrait reporting. They've added a few additional features in here, so you can show negative amounts with a minus sign or a parenthesis. The parenthesis will be the brackets. What else have they done on the reporting side? So again, if you're using inbuilt system reports, you will be able to see that when you come into financial reporting, you've got this little internal description field. It's a new field. You can add extra details in there if you wanted to. So if I came in here and I created a new report layout, or this was an existing report layout, I can put in an internal description if I wanted to here. The internal description will be coming into the edit list, and I can add any. You can say this report is for X, Y, Z. This report is for this purpose. This report was for this purpose. You can give some extra context on reports if you wanted to. So it's a feature they've added. It's a new feature. So you can see it in here. Another feature which they have added was you can enter what they call introductions on a report definition. So you can come in here and just have a look. So if I come into my report and I go to my definitions and I go to my report definitions, you can have, oh, apologize for that, can't see where the field's gone. You've got document layouts, yes, you can have, these are new fields which they've added in here. Sorry, that was on the definitions menu, beg your pardon. So when you're on your report definitions, I thought there was an icon here, I'm looking at something else. So you're in your report definition and you can have this little new icon here, in edit, introductory and closing paragraphs. So when you're producing a report, you can put wordings at the top and at the bottom, so that therefore when the report is generated, you can see things like, there's my footer, which I entered in here, and somewhere at the top will be the intro. So you can add some context, some wordings, again, further information, say this report is for X, Y, and Z covering showing whatever you want. So you can put some descriptions in against your reports if you wanted to as well. So again, these are new features which they've added. They've also added, for example, if I came into a report, then I'm just literally coming into any particular report. If I come to column definitions, under one of the column types, they've added a new column type, which is a month to date figure. So you normally have your formula, your net change, your balance as at a date, beginning balance. So a new option they've added is a month to date field that you can have for your various columns in your reports. They've also added where you can, when you are in your chart of accounts. So if I was, for example, to create a new chart of account, 777, 27 test. So once I've added in an account, you can see I've got this little icon here. So you can do suggesting it again, as I explained for the Copilot. I can also look up values here. And then on the subcategory, as I've selected this particular subcategory, you may have a series of reports which are using this subcategory in various sections on your report layouts. So straight from here, you can go and do some generate of a financial reporting and moving it up or down. And you can update the reports while you are generating your financial report. So if you are generating a financial report, what you do is you click into the financial report and you can either keep the existing report with the row definitions and create new ones. So if you've already got a row definition, say for your income, and you've called it income statement, if you keep the existing one, it will keep the income statement and it will create an additional one called income statement number 2, for example, and it will add in this new GL account code that you've created. If it needs to slot into a various section, if it's a new line, depending on the account subcategory that you've entered. Or you can say, no, overwrite the existing financial reports and row definitions. Mixed bag out there, whichever one you want to use. So when I was doing my ones, I think I've selected it on asset. So if I click OK, so if I come back to my report now, you'll probably see another iteration of it here. So here we go. So I've gone to number 5 now. So I was creating them number 1. So each time it creates a new definition because I've added a new GL account. That's what the new one meant. So it keeps the old one and it creates a new one with your new additions in it. Then you can review it yourself and delete whichever ones you want and make sure it's doing the right thing for you. Or if you feel confident enough, you may have done it once or twice and you know what the end result is and what to expect. You could just basically say, no, overwrite the existing one, and you won't end up with me, like where I've got several different iterations of each time I added a new GL account code, it created a new report definition for me. So another feature, we're just going to start wrapping up now. I know we've got limited time. So I'm just going to show you something. I think I had it in one of these. I can't remember which one I had it for, but I'll have a quick little look. The add one. I'm just going to show you another little feature which they had. It's going to change this to list mode. No, my luck, I haven't done that. Okay, I'm just going to select one of my vendors just to show you. I'm just going to come into my vendor and I am going to add an attachment in here. So I'm going to add an attachment, and in my case, I'm just going to add something very, very basic. Let's do, add a sample report. It's just, the content is not important. It's just to show you the effect of what it is. So if you look in here now, so I have a vendor with an attachment. And in previous version, the version that you guys are on at the moment, if you wanted to view the attachment, The attachment could be against a card record. It could be against the documents, if it's purchase invoice, sales invoice, wherever you can add an attachment, essentially. If I wanted to view it, I would have had to click on here, and then I'm using Google Chrome at the moment, showing you the demo environment in Google Chrome. And then what it would have done was downloaded this PDF. I would have ended up with a little download icon in the top right-hand corner, and then it would have opened it up in a whole new window for me to view it. But what they've done now is it opens it up within the same window. So you don't have to download it and then open it in a separate tab, etc. So if you have any attachments, you can see it just opens it up within that particular viewer window now. So it doesn't, you don't have to download and do the whole lot. And another feature, believe it or not, and I thought it was quite a nice one because I always used to find this a bit of a pain. I don't know if you guys have, but you know, you've got your fact box here, and we know the fact box is available on a number of windows, from your card windows to your transactional windows. Fact boxes are everywhere, and they are pretty good in what they can do. You know, in the different windows, they give you different information. We all know that now, but they were all fixed. Look at this now. I can change the size of my fact box. That is a feature. People have voted for it. People asked for it. They wanted to have a bigger fact box so you could see more information. So now the fact box, you can toggle the size of the fact box. Another little thing they've done in various areas is they call it tool tips. So if any of you ever use this, you know, you've got this little icon up here where you can do the Explorer, where you can explore all the different roles that you have. So in various areas now, they've got these little eye buttons, as you can see. And if you do a little eye, it gives you a little bit more information as to what this particular item is. I click on roles over here. You can click on eye again. It gives you more information. And also you can do straight pop-outs from here as well into those relevant windows. So if I wanted to go to bank account register, if I wanted to go to, I don't know, back daybook entries, a bit more of a one. So if I wanted to go to entries, I can look at GL register, and I know you can't see it, but what it's done is it's opened up another window, and it's just popped it out. And that's what that icon means. It pop out into another window. So it just open it up in another, not a tab, it'll open it up in another window. So they've added a few additional features like this around the place. And just coming back to our homepage again. So I just wanted to reiterate again that the icons for Copilot, you'll see them a lot, as you've seen as I'm going along. You can, just to reiterate again, when I went to purchase invoice, for argument's sake, and I came into, because obviously this transaction has already been entered. So if I went to a new purchase invoice, I'm just showing it to you here as an example, because we know that it's here. These icons, look out for these icons. They're going to be in a number, look, this one here as well. They're going to be in a number of areas up on the document amount. I've got it over here. So there's a number of fields which have the Copilot icon where it will suggest some information for you. And again, if you forget what the icon looks like from your main screen here, which we're in, I can click here and you can see that you can do the additional co-piloting, and you can come in here. This is my sales order, where it clicks into my sales order agent, and you've got that same icon here along with these little viewpoints here that you can click on. So you can sign in here, you can go and find, you can explain, you can ask, etc. And it's using those same little stars. I want to call them stars. They're like an unusual star, but that's where we have it. Now, just to reiterate again, as we're wrapping up, there is a whole list of items which are available, new items in wave 1. I've only covered some of the key ones. As you can see, it's taken us an hour and I've been talking at a bit of speed, so I do apologize for that. And it's just to try to cram as much as I could. I want to give you so much information, but we just have limited time. But if you guys feel that there's something else that that is on the wave 1 that you want to have a bit of a deeper dive on, please reach out to us, reach out to your account manager, reach out to the administrators here, and we can definitely investigate that and look at it in more detail for you, or provide more information. Likewise, it's available online as well. If you just do a search in a good search engine I usually, whenever I'm searching in a search engine, I start with the words Business Central, and I would type in something like Business Central 2025 release wave 1, and you'll arrive at the Microsoft Learn pages. And from within here, you can click on the various items and it will give you a bit more deeper information. Like I said, if there's more information that you need on that or more assistance, please reach out to us, reach out to your account manager in the first instance, and we will see what we can do. And I thank you for your time and attention for this morning. And looking at me, apologies if I've been going at speed. I'm just trying to encapsulate so much information in a short space of time. I'm sure there'll be future sessions as well on various other waves and functionality. So please reach out to us and we can definitely address any queries or concerns. Jenny, over to you. Thank you. Are there any questions from anybody?
Can't see anything in the Q&A, Mance.
Like I said, there's a lot of information to take in. I get that. There's some queries and questions may come to you afterwards. You know, you're doing something later on in the day, you think, oh, yes, please note them down, reach out to us, reach out to the account managers here, and we can certainly address whatever question that you had and take it further for you.
Excellent. Thanks, man. So that's finishing today's session. Just to remind you, we will be sending out a recording of today's webinar, so look out for that in your inbox. You can see that Jenny's put up a list of our upcoming events. I guess the one I draw everybody's attention to that's particularly relevant to this call is our Finance Roundtable, which is happening at the beginning of June. So it'll be great. It's an in-person one this time down in London, so it'll be nice to see people there. But thank you. Have a nice day and hopefully enjoying the nice sunshine today.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you.